Odzo yul okshi tuti yul mu. I just found out this morning that an ancient Sith translator exists. I suppose, considering how famously autistic the Star Wars fan community is, I really shouldn't be surprised. And yes, I realize I'm not one to talk, given that I am both autistic and a Star Wars nerd. Mine was not so much an observational jest as just plain old dead reckoning. But anyway, what I just said was let your will be your fire, and that will be an important springboard off into what I mean to talk to you about today. Though I will admit up front, the title I used is partially clickbait, but only insofar as it says religion, when really it should say Abrahamic faith. However, given that the vast majority of my audience is located in the US, and the dominant religion in most of its parts is still some form of Protestant Christianity, it seemed to me a fairly safe bet that most of you would probably bridge the gap all by yourselves. So, where am I going with this? Well, one of the main side benefits of using text-to-speech to record these is that it makes it dramatically less painful for me to go back and listen to my earlier content. As a result, I've been pondering over my older YouTube catalog, and I've noticed a minor but highly significant omission in my human question and capitalism versus communism videos, one which I believe has symmetrical value to both, hence my making it its own addendum video. Many people seem to believe that more religion is the answer to the rise in communistic sympathies we've seen across the West. This is false. Why? Because communism is just what happens when you secularize Christian ideals and values, i.e., when you remove God and magic from the equation, you get an ideology still obsessed with utopian ascension, but without the luxury of mystical or transcendental obfuscation. In other words, when you still desperately want to believe all the spiritual hogwash about how we're all special, about how we're all intrinsically valuable simply by our virtue of having been born with a pulse, and that you'll live forever in paradise if you simply believe everything your moral superiors spout at you, but your new worldview also disallows you to couch that in supernatural notions of souls or miracles or heaven, then you will end up converting to the New Age urban monocultural religion of woke progressivism, which, yes, I've previously established as actually definitively religious. See the playlist linked in the description for more details on every point hitherto touched upon. But that's merely the problem, I hear you say. What's the solution? Well, in my perfect world, the ideal answer would be for each and every person to sit down and rationally construct for themselves their own actionable life thesis, aka a secular philosophy. The way I would have them do this is simplicity itself. Privately meditate on what is most meaningful based on your own unique temperament and personality, and optimize all your finite resource investments and expenditures accordingly. However, I know this will not happen. To learn why, you need only look up the Plato's Cave metaphor. That in mind, the only broadly applicable solution I can see is a narrative-based belief structure that affords the same level of empirical wiggle room as secular philosophy, but that also has scaffolding rated for simultaneously supporting paradoxical matrices, social narratives, and moral hierarchies. I'm not even sure what you would call that sort of thought form. However, I have a much longer video drafted where I carve down to the bone of that idea, so don't get too carried away with it just yet. In the meantime, do bear in mind that, as it is incentives, not narratives, that predominantly dictate human action, any cultural node would have to be predicated on nurturing the basal human impulses and compulsions, our wants to eat, to sleep, to fight, to mate, etc., if it is to last more than 1 or 2 generations. Like I said, this video is just a bit of intellectual kindling, more a mental nugget to whet your appetite than a full meal, so feel free to add your own ingredients to it in the usual spot, and also check out the links to my other playlists if this sort of content is to your taste. Anyhow, until next time, keep your mind sharp. Katsok yul suichi isilk.